We are bringing that hawk to in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the Guardian Hub.
You're listening to the Guardian Hub.
You're listening to the Guardian Hub.
You are listening to the Guardian Hub. The best
hub on the net.
Gross. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 266 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny, and we're talking about the final shape and episode 1 echoes. How are we all doing tonight? Right now, I have Sin with me. How you doing?
Magical.
Magical.
And you?
Good. I'm doing great.
Especially you rushing home for this?
Yeah, rushing home for the podcast. I think I'd mentioned to you that wife might be looking for a new car. We put pause on that in the meantime. No particular reason. It's just busyness. You know what I mean? Like not wanting to take the time to run down to the dealership and go through all that.
The emotional damage.
I mean, I think it'll be pretty good for us. We have fairly good credit, and there were some deals and stuff. But at the same time, she's like, maybe I'll just wait another 6 months. So I don't know. It's her car. It's her car, so I don't really care what's going on. And my car is still basically brand new, even though it's a 21. Our cars are both 21 year, and she has like 75,000 miles on her because she used to drive a lot for work, kind of like what you do. And my car only has like 30, upper 30s or something like that. If I had to, I'd have to look at it again. So. Not too many miles on my car. I'm not in any rush to change mine up.
That's like what I do every single year. 30 plus.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. And any interesting things going on before we talk Vigia games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Just still work. Lots of work.
Yeah. Well, how's like, I know this sounds like a stupid question, but like the weather, the reason why I asked this is because it was really interesting here where a lot of people, we had hot, and then I heard the heat went to the Midwest even worse than us. And then we got down to 40 degrees 2 nights ago. And then it's back warm again today. But did any heat wave hit you, or is that coming soon, or maybe it won't hit the
it's been hot, like 90s. So kind of feels gross when you go outside. Not a fan. Bring back fall.
Yeah. I know. Like fall is, we're getting some more video game big releases. You know, a lot of shows and movies come out, and
I haven't been looking. Tell me.
Well, we have some like the Assassin's Creed things. I guess that's more November, the Asian one, but I think also the Star Wars Ubisoft games coming out in August. There's something else big coming out. So we'll have stuff. I know there's the Diablo DLC expansion, so actual new content, not just seasons. I think that's September or something. So yeah, there's a few things going on.
Very nice.
Well, let's get into it tonight. It may just be us two. We'll see if anyone else joins. I know Rodimus said. I mean, this is how it is with all our co-hosts. It's just a mixed bag of whoever can show up. But I know Rodimus said he had stuff busy with family, and then Kato's doing some stuff in game, so maybe we'll keep this episode short and sweet. But there are two things I want to talk about tonight, Sin. Basically, we did not give any impressions on the episode content yet. And then we also want to talk about the changes that they are making with rating, which this conversation was going to go one way, but then they came out with late breaking news today that it's switching back next week. So we'll talk about that, and that's in the twit also.
I saw something in chat about whatever you were saying in chat there.
Yes, that's that topic. But also, I just want to let everyone know I was a guest on GDC podcast, Guardian Downcast last week. So check that out if you want. What's interesting that I really liked about that episode is Gator and I give our long-term predictions on how we feel Destiny will be. And funny enough, and I'll give kind of a quick synopsis of what mine is here. But funny enough, we were pretty close on. I feel like Gator didn't have as wild and crazy predictions this time around. Maybe he's gotten burnt too many times. But anyways, mine isn't that exciting, but it's very realistic. Okay, so we know that they told us D2 Frontiers is coming in 2025. Well, hopefully I didn't talk about this last week, did I? I don't know if you remember.
We mentioned Frontiers, but I don't think any of us knew what it was.
Yeah. Well, as far as what it is, I don't entirely care. I was thinking more like timing, but it seems obvious. Like, here's what I do think, though. It's not going to be a DLC because two reasons. First of all, they've never had code names for DLCs. They always just tell us this much ahead of time. And Frontiers sounds either like a code name or like a name of some episodes. But also, the other thing is we have not, within the last 3 years, ever gotten another expansion a year after. It's always delayed, right? It's always like a year and a half, right? So a year from now would be June-ish, July 2025. They said Frontiers is coming in 2025, but if it's going to be a DLC, it's probably going to be 6 months past that, and then we'd be pushing 2026. So I really don't think it's going to be a big DLC, unfortunately. It's just going to be more episodes. And that's okay, because think of this as like a maintenance period of Destiny where they're working on the next big thing, and we probably have to be okay with having like hopefully pretty good episodes, but no big DLC for a couple years so we can get to the next big thing. And then that next big thing will probably come in 2026. And I don't think it'll be called Destiny 3. I think it'll just be Destiny 2 with like a whole new area that's next gen only. But you can still go back to the old stuff too. You have any thoughts or comments?
I don't know. I mean, I think I would agree to the more, not the seasonal, but the
the episode thing.
The episode format. I really think that's going to be it. I hope it's more than that, but I guess really it is too early to tell.
Yeah, it is. It is. Gator was saying that the main reason they're not going to do it in 2025 is because they don't want to compete with Marathon. I'm like, I don't buy that, because other game studios will have 2 games out at the same time. They don't, quote, compete against themselves. They just get more money. But also, I think it's just more technically they won't be ready for any big DLC or new game until 2026. I think that's the realistic answer. But I don't know. Let's talk about this. We have our first episode. We keep calling it like seasonals content or whatever. That's fine. Technically, they're called episodes with acts, and we're in Act 1 right now. And I know you haven't done all of this Week 2 stuff yet, but it's really not that much different than Week 1. Have you done any of it yet?
I started it. I finished Week 1 last week, and I just had to deposit something in the helm, I believe it was. And this one was breach executable. I had to get something in the middle of there. It took me a hot minute to get that. And then I'm on the step where I have to do a bunch of bounties and other stuff. Patrols, it looks like.
So, yes. And let's talk about, there's actually kind of 2 activities. There's one main activity, and there's like another one that not everyone knows about because you have to do a side quest for it to open. But let's talk about, first of all, I think it's really fun how they opened it. I like Failsafe. I think Failsafe's hilarious. I don't know about you.
He is very interesting.
Yeah, split personality, right?
To say the least.
Definitely 2 there. And I think it's fun. I think the idea is kind of cool. I like dealing with Vex. Nessus is an interesting planet. There's some cool cutscenes and things like that. So it kind of starts off strong. But then we have a normal seasonal quest where it's like do a few things. Now the quest wasn't too bad. It wasn't like tons of like just super boring things. But then where the first kind of like milestone is what's the activity like? So they introduce us to breach executable. I'm sure you've done that at least once. That's like the main activity. You
Yes. Yeah,
run around,
twice now,
kill
I
stuff,
think.
collect things. Yeah, you collect things. Do you remember that? And then you deposit it in a thing and kind of normal stuff,
Positive
right?
thing. Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
it's okay.
What do you think? Yeah.
To me it's okay.
There are, once you run it a little bit more, you might like it a little bit more because there's a couple different arenas and a few different bosses and some minor mechanics here and there. Like it can vary between standing on A, B, and C plates, ooh, big deal, or it can vary in like shooting things in the sky. But for the most part, you're just going to arenas, killing enemies, collecting Vex data, which are like motes, and then depositing it in this thing. If I had to rate it, I would say it's okay to good. Maybe like on a 1 through 10, I'd give it a 7. It's not bad by any means, but it's not like super exciting either. It's pleasant enough right now to run.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something I want to keep going back in and grinding my face off on.
Well, definitely not. I mean, any activity, even like onslaught or cool raids, can eventually get boring. But like, I think, yeah, this one I'm not going to try to hit it too hard because who knows how long this will be around, or if they're going to vary it up much between the different acts. Because the full episode goes about 4 months versus 3, like what we're used to. So, and there are some rumors that in Act 2 they're going to change it up, and in Act 3 we might have an exotic mission. But does that really mean that much, or is it just going to be mostly this activity still with just some minor changes? But
Probably just minor changes.
Yeah. Excuse me. Throat. You can edit that out, right? I'm just kidding.
We
don't care about editing here. All right. So there's like collectible things. You can get like little collectibles to get extra rewards. You can also, when you start doing the quest, you have like a terrarium where you can deposit different plants and other things in the helm, which is kind of cool. It's something. It's like nice when you do it, but there's only going to be so many things you can put in there. And it's like the fish. When we were doing that, it's like, it's nice kind of, but are you really like going back to look at it that much, or is there any reason having it there? Not really. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not any main reason. It doesn't feel like it at this point. It's just there.
Yeah. There is one other activity, though, that I don't know if you open it up. It's on the right side of the map in the helm, and it's called Enigma Protocol. Do you have that open yet, or have you tried that?
What is that in the helm?
Well, yeah, like Breach Executable is on the left side of the helm, and that's the main seasonal activity. And then Enigma Protocol is like a kind of like a seasonal activity, but it's more like a quest type thing.
Nope. Don't even see it.
Yeah, you need to do some more quest steps. Now this is really interesting, and I'm actually down to run this with you if you want afterwards or another day or whatever. But this is kind of like an exotic mission, kind of. It's quite difficult actually compared to the regular activity. The regular activity has a normal mode, and then you can go in as expert. But this one only has expert mode, so 2005 recommended power cap. But of course, you can go in with other people, and whoever's the highest in your fire team, it'll bring you all up. And it is a kind of like a timed activity. However, it's one of those things, we've had these in the past where you can extend the timer if you kill ads, but that doesn't add much, so that's not the best way. The best way is just to go through it all fast. There's also little Vex data nodes you can shoot like around hidden corners and stuff. That'll extend 30 seconds on the clock. Or timekeepers, special enemies that if you shoot them, that'll add 30 seconds on the clock. So really the name of the game is go fast, don't die, kill ads quickly, and look for these extra nodes and extra special enemies to extend time on the clock. While you're doing this, the arena kind of looks like remember the kind of Tron looking Vex arena? We had like an activity a few seasons back. It was like all like data bits like all around you, kind of. I don't, or like the one strike where you ride your Sparrow, the Vex strike, and it's all Vexy data looking.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Anyways, it has a whole different look and feel to it, like you're in this like computer simulation or something, and you're just killing Vex and doing things. And there's like little jumping puzzles where you have to like slide down ramps and jump through holes and everything while you're on a timer. And the boss at the end is a little bit hard and tanky also. I've only technically passed it once all the way through. There's like a checkpoint in the middle where you get rewards, and then there's the final boss. And it is match made if you want, which is cool. You can go in with randos, but unless you have a really good group, you're going to run out of time quite often. I've done it probably 6 times total. The first time, passed it all the way through because it was like on reset, like all the tryhards are out. The second through like 4th time, we ran out of time pretty early on. And then like the 5th and 6th time, we got past the halfway point, but then we couldn't get to like the boss or finish the boss in time before our time ran out. And so I know some people will complain about, oh no, a timed mission, but it's kind of interesting. It's not an exotic mission. It's like a side mission you don't really have to do, but the rewards are pretty good. They give you tons of stuff. So I don't know. It's interesting, but you should definitely check it out at least once.
Wonder how I unlock it. I guess just finishing week 2.
You need to do the side quests. So like there's the main quest is called, it has lots of steps, and it's called a Rising Course. But then there's a side quest that maybe you didn't pick up from Failsafe in the Helm, or maybe you do have in your quests, and it's like another seasonal thing. And it tells you to collect and look at things, and then that'll open up this mission.
Specimen IDs or whatever.
Probably those ones, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. But yeah, it's early to say what we think of. My worry, and a lot of people's worries all along, was not that Final Shape would be good or bad. I was saying Final Shape is going to be great, and sure enough, it is. But talk to us in 6 months, right? If we're going to have these episodes for like a year and a half, 2 years, hopefully they can make some pretty good ones, because otherwise we'll be logging on when there's new things once a week or so, but some of us may not have too many exciting things to do with the seasonal content. I don't know. We want to hear what you think, though. All right. Anything else you want to mention about that, or have any questions? Saying I can be your Sherpa.
Might have to.
I know.
I jumped on tonight and I was like, what have I missed this last week? Because it feels like being off a week, you kind of miss everything. But I mean, honestly, it's probably not as much as I'm thinking I'm behind. It looks like those specimen portion is just some mindless activities and should be pretty easy to knock out.
Yes. Welcome. And yeah, we were just talking about how you got Kato here, but Sin was just saying how much he's missed. And yeah, this last week, because you had already done Dual Destiny and a lot of the Final Shape stuff, I'm sure you have collectibles, but yeah, not much this week you've missed for week 2 of the season.
I want Kvastov. That's the only thing that I need to go back and figure out. The last
well,
two
yeah,
pieces
but that's
I'm
not
missing.
seasonal. That's not the seasonal
No.
thing. That's the DLC stuff.
Main stuff.
All right. Well, we were just talking about the episode's echo stuff. Kato, have you jumped into the Enigma protocol? That's the hard timed one with the jumping puzzles and everything. Yeah. What do you think of that?
I'm a little disappointed because it's rehash content. Like this is season of the splicer stuff.
That's what I was trying to explain to Sid. I'm like, it looks familiar.
Yeah, I'm like 80% positive that it's season of the splicer. But it's nice being able to run all of it at once. Versus like season of the splicer, it was like broken up into sections you had to run through. So it's like now you get to run all of it all at once. It's kind of cool how they have it jumps around, teleports you. I think I haven't figured out what we're talking about is the room with all the collectibles. Like there's a like a puzzle thing in there that you get a like triumph for.
Oh, I did not know that yet.
It's
Wait, in the helm?
No, in the mission we're talking about.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's called packet retrieval. Extract all the strange queries from the Vex confluxes in the ending protocol.
Have you gotten much clears of the all the way through? Because I've mostly run it with randos, and I got one clear, and then on Tuesday when all the tryhards were out, and then since then I haven't gotten a clear with randos.
Gotten quite a few. It's
I should hop back in again.
I got the time trial for it and the security notes done for it.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I personally am not as interested in some of this episode stuff.
yeah.
I always like to experience new things, but like time trial, I don't know. And then
Mhm.
like, how much do I want to grind this? I'm just talking about like, hopefully this won't get too boring to us in a few weeks.
I didn't realize there was another variant of it. Jeez. Apparently
You didn't
there's-
realize there was a what?
So apparently there's two variants of the Enigma protocol.
Yeah, I saw that in Triumphs. I don't think the other one's out yet, right?
It
didn't come out this
is.
week.
It
It is?
It's out
Oh,
this
how do you
week,
get to
yeah.
it?
It's just changed. It's Enigma protocol corrupted data.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even read the title. Okay, I
Yeah.
need to hop back in it then. So it probably rotates weekly because you can't pick it.
I would assume it's weekly.
Okay. Hey, I know what we need to do afterwards.
Mhm.
So I guess that means I need to go start working on it and getting it unlocked.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sin doesn't have it unlocked yet. I don't know if we can pull him in without that. But you may want to.
I think so. I think you just have to get to that step. Doesn't take very long.
All right. And then, but if you wanted to say anything else about the episode stuff, otherwise our other main topic tonight will be TWID and raid changes and then changes.
As far as the episode stuff, not really. Typical seasonal content kind of thing. Like, I know it's not seasonal content, but it's seasonal content. So it's, I don't know, it kind of feels like the story this time around with the echoes. I know we're getting more later, but it just seems very bland.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because it is that bland or if it's from coming straight off the campaign that was so good. Not sure.
Yeah. I mean, people have said before, like, well, yeah, it could be either like they didn't have as many resources, or it could just be because Final Shape was good and this seems bland. But
Yeah.
it's not like these first seasons or episodes that come with expansions have to be bland, but they typically seem like they have been. And then sometimes the second or third one is a lot better.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe it'll pick up as we get Act 2 and Act 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was interesting because the topic tonight was going to be, and we're going to talk about this some, of course, because we got to know what it was before it's going to change again. But I want to back up because I seem to remember some tweet, or we were talking about things, or I read something about how Bungie saw feedback that people, I thought, mostly kind of liked different modifiers, like when Pantheon was going on, and they said they would take that into consideration. But I didn't know. I haven't raided since Final Shape's come out. I didn't know that they were already doing that in the raids with surges and modifiers. Have you rated anything at all yet?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't. I haven't done the raid. I haven't done the dungeon. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, nothing.
Pretty much. That's what it feels like, at least.
I think it was Scoot said the Pantheon hangover is a real thing.
It is. It is.
And to me, I mean, yeah, that's part of it. Part of it's just there's other stuff to do. I don't know. Haven't felt like raiding right now.
Yeah. But what they did was they actually added 2 parts. They added surges to, well, I guess I should say the one part first. And if you want to, I don't know, should we get into the twid? How do you want to do this? They kind of break down what the change percentage was from before Final Shape to now. But then that's even going to be changing next week. They're going to kind of be reverting a lot back.
Yeah. So I didn't even know about the change. We didn't catch it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information that came out right before the launch. And I know we were busy with Pantheon plus like Mega Cast and some of the other things and scheduling. It was probably in one of those bids we didn't.
It probably was. I was just confused though. Although I did read like one thing. I get like little Reddit pop-ups of like interesting Destiny 2 news articles or commentary, and then sometimes I'll click on them, sometimes I won't. But there was a couple things popping up saying like Bungie, like I don't enjoy Sherping raids anymore, and this and that. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, is it just the new raid they're talking about? That's what I thought. But I guess come to find out, everything was like a lot different. Like, groups with you could usually get on War Priest 2 or 3 phases or whatever. People are saying like they're barely passing it in 4 phases now, and if they're Sherping people, and this and that. And I guess what had basically happened was they have a chart here in the twid. If you don't use any surges, our outgoing damage was 33% less now than before Final Shape in all raids.
So
33%
without
less.
surge mods.
Without surges. And then with surges, 15% less than. So even with surges, 15% less than it was before Final Shape.
I mean, it's interesting number-wise.
Yeah. I could see that now why people were a little bit concerned. I mean, look, it's you could say they're making raids harder. I don't know how I really feel about this now. I don't care too much because they're going to be changing some things back, but now I see why people were saying like, oh, it's a lot hard Sherping a group. So not only, we know how Sherpas go, and like you're like, well, now it's like really important. You better use the surge weapons, because if not, you're at a 33% disadvantage to before Final Shape, and with it, it's 15% less. So.
On one hand, I think it was potentially a good thing, right? Because it was going to shift the meta. But on the other hand, it's gatekeeping in a way. It's like, oh, you want to bring new players in so they can experience these great 6-man activities, but you're not going to be able to get it done unless you have the optimal weapon or something close to it at minus 15% damage in rates. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, we never really talked it through like different ways they could do it, and I love the idea of having activity modifiers, but maybe have it as an option where you get more rewards. Like you can have the normal version where you don't have to have modifiers, and then you can have like the challenge, or I don't know, not like challenges like how they have raids so far, but wasn't it Sin when they did this back with like Eater of Worlds? Wasn't the modifiers only on the harder version, I feel like, or was it on the normal versions too?
It's like prestige.
I think it was just the prestige version.
Yeah, I think it was. And they were kind of fun to work around. I mean, at first you hear these things like, you got to go through all your ammo in one weapon before you go to the next and stuff. I'm like, that sounds super annoying. And sometimes it was, but sometimes it was kind of fun too, because it was just like a different
way to
thing
do
to
it.
try. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They're getting the feedback from the community. And I can see where the problem is here. Like, that's rough in a raid, especially certain encounters like War Priest, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, that's DPS check anyways.
Yeah.
So in other encounters like that, I can see that being a problem.
I mean, Salted Grepo just wrote something on X2 saying how he's happy that they're making this change just for the community in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll
we
see how
haven't
it
talked
plays
about
out.
the change yet. Yeah. So one other thing I did want to make note of, because they kind of mention this was only for outgoing damage, our damage to the enemies. Now, the thing what was kind of confusing some people was when you load up an activity on the UI, it shows a -5. That really just means for outgoing, but for incoming, we can still go +15 over. It just doesn't show us that in the UI. So they were trying to make us feel better, saying like, yeah, on the older raids, or even technically on this raid, if you level this new raid, if you level up tons, you can get +15 over, so that the change there was negligible. Basically, if you were 15 over, you're only taking 3% more damage than you did before Final Shape. So basically, there's no difference there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that in itself wasn't so much of a change. It was the damage.
Yes. Yeah, it was the damage. Yep.
But, I mean, okay. Think back to, like, a couple weeks ago, Pantheon. Like, we were changing loadouts per encounter because of the surge. Like, 1 week it was an arc surge. It's like, okay, it's good with arc. Ran it. That was great. Being able to switch out encounters so much. Now, from the sounds of it, let's look at that. Whatever the changes.
You were cutting out a little bit right there.
Just the like the changes they're making. And I didn't really read it, so did you
all
take
right,
that over?
I'll give the TLDR. We could talk about. Basically, I think that's all the context is leading up to it. But what they're changing is they are removing surges in general. So kind of sad if we want the variability. And this is starting next week. So by the time you hear this coming out, it's happening like right away, people. So they're removing surges in general, but they're buffing up everything across the board, everything. So it's just basically back to how it was. So kinetic weapon, it doesn't even matter. Everything's just being buffed up, so that the only thing they didn't tell us is the exact amount. They said it's going to be reduce the difference compared to before the Final Shape. I have to assume that means somewhere better than 15% difference to 0%, somewhere in between there, or else why are they even telling us that? I kind of wish they gave us an exact number. I think a lot of people are going to assume it's going to be back to how it was before, and that's probably good. But they better not just make it so it's reduced difference from the higher number. Then they could still be 15, which we'll find out things are still a little bit harder than before. I just want to know.
From what I'm reading about numbers, is there should be raids should feel essentially the same after the change as they did pre-Final Shape.
Yeah.
But dungeons, outgoing damage in dungeons be higher. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they're basically giving us surge mods, all types in the raids and dungeons.
All types, yeah. And it's really going to help. It's going to bring raids kind of back to how they were. And then dungeons already were a little higher after the Final Shape change. And then with this, maybe even more so. So maybe that means going back into whatever that dungeon was won't feel like as much of a slog. The one with the
deep.
Yes. Goes to the deep.
Yeah. I mean, that could be interesting. I don't know. It's
So
interesting.
I don't know. This is interesting all around, and I assume this means the latest raid too. So the latest raid will be potentially quite a bit easier starting on Tuesday.
Essentially, yeah.
Plus, we've all leveled up some more too. So, you know, it's a thing. You excited, Sin, or now are you not scared as much anymore? I'm sure you didn't even care.
I don't think I was. I don't know. I wasn't necessarily scared, but I didn't have the need to go into the new raid at this point. But if it's going to make it
Same.
easier, heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's I'm just trying to be funny, but about the scared comment. But yeah, didn't really have the need before. But I think this is mostly a good change. I just hope they can, because I haven't really played around with those surges. I guess I can jump in something this weekend, but why at this point, really? If it's going to be changing soon, I don't know.
Right. I mean, I'm curious. I would like to see, just to like experience and feel the difference, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, meh,
Yeah.
whatever.
So that was big news because also Forbes Tassie came out with an article this morning before they announced this change, talking about how the community definitely felt on it and giving more details that I hadn't really been up to date on. And then it's funny because so much just changed from this morning to when the TWID came out, and now it'll be kind of reverting. All right.
Mm.
One other thing. I'm really intrigued. I mean, it's a different topic, but I'm really intrigued about the Excision Grandmaster. I guess it actually is 12 people. Anyone heard anything about that yet? Because I think that sounds like a complete effing mess. Like when I've gone in, you're going to be competing against your teammates, their deaths, and bugs in the mission.
Yeah. It's I haven't jumped into it, but I can only imagine. Like, I can
Having
only
12
imagine.
people is not going to make a Grandmaster any better unless everyone can play their life and guarantee they stay alive. If they can, and you just take your time, hide in corners if you need, whatever you do, then I can see having 12 people is a benefit. But once people start dying, it's
You're
gonna,
done
'cause
for.
you still have the token issue. So it's going to be worse because there's more people that can die. And then I don't know how many tokens they give, but
Yeah, I don't know. From what I've seen, you have like the optimal fire team going in there is like all warlocks and all hunters.
okay.
Like, I don't know. It's weird.
What's this without the Titan BS, huh?
It's always like that's it.
Well, it's just the layout and the setup. Like, I don't know. I'm not really sure why, other than you have Tether Hunter. You get enough of them, you're just chaining tethers and everything's suppressed. And then your Warlock has healing turrets. Like, okay.
Yeah, maybe that's all it is.
I think that's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, we can get bubbles with Titan.
You don't even need a bubble. You get Saint.
Saint 14, yeah, that's right. He's still going to be there in the GM version, I guess, huh? Yeah, why not? Yeah, we don't need any other Titans. We got Saint.
We have the Titan, I think.
Oh, that's funny. Salvation's Edge. If you want to go through this, Kato, you can't. But Salvation's Edge Master difficulties coming out June 25th.
Yep. Next reset. Grandmaster Nightfall coming back on the 25th with the Glassway. Known issues. Kvastov is currently kind of bugged, apparently.
I wonder
It's
why,
mainly
'cause they don't say what here.
Well, it's the Mote of Light. So Motes of Light, there's one of them. In addition to defeating all the overthrow bosses in each area, we additionally recommend that players who only need to defeat the taken servitor boss in the blooming attempt to kill it a couple of times, including return to orbit between runs.
Well, that's true. I had to do that. It took me like 3 times before I got that moat.
Yeah, there's an issue with the triumphs tracking correctly, so do not rely on that to know which bosses you have killed.
Jeez.
The encryption bits. Make sure you skin all the region gist, search all the rumble files. There's a separate issue where the triumphs for opening region chests and searching the rumble files can be unintentionally completed before meeting the intended requirements. Oh man. Now, this actually happened to me. Players are advised to rerun all the assist activities and make sure every rumble file has been searched. Once all of the intended chests and rumble files have been interacted with, players should be rewarded the lost encryption code, regardless of how many bits have appeared in their inventory. So that's kind of bugged.
Yeah. Okay, look, with it's cool how they did this Kvostov stuff, but with it relying on so many mechanics and subquests and this and that, I almost feel like they were shooting themselves in the foot by doing this, because you got to expect some bugs. And this is such an important weapon they want everyone to get. I almost wonder if they should change something even this early on to make it easier for people to get it.
Oh. Fuck that.
What up, Rodimus?
What's up?
So much for not being available tonight. He came in just for that.
Oh, I just got home, so.
Fair.
I don't necessarily have a problem with like how it's stepped into, but I know the rubble piles and assist activities, like I reran them so many times just because I had to go back into it to get the piles. Like that was annoying.
Yep.
Because it was like time gated essentially. Like if you weren't on a certain step and you were just going for it, you couldn't get it. So
I know. I feel like Bell or someone had mentioned like, oh, if you didn't get them, just go back in and get them. Like, you can't just do that. You got to have the right bird, the right quest to go into the right system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a pain.
Huge pain.
So acquiring prismatic on alternate characters. Prismatic Destined Heroes, Lost on Light, and Found in the Dark quest can only be completed once per account. Players who purchase the Final Shape campaign skip boost or while attempting to acquire prismatic on alternate characters will instead need to play the 6 adventures available in the Lost City to unlock their prismatic abilities. Okay, so that's nice to know.
Right, it's only a boost for the main campaign, not the after campaign missions where you still need to run for those prismatic things.
Right. More known issues. The Mote of Light drop from Coftix? I don't know. May be flung from the boss on defeat, resulting in it not appearing directly where it fell, or where the boss fell. So it eats itself into some unknown land. Golden Tricorn is incorrectly tied to players' super damage instead of their grenade or melee. That's that sucks. Winter's Guile doesn't auto shatter enemies frozen with Penumbral Blast while using Prismatic. Okay. Completing the Lightfall campaign on Legendary difficulty does not reward choice of an exotic item.
Wait, just to some people, or is this brand new? Because it obviously
This is new.
Okay.
Apparently.
Jeez.
Two-Tailed Fox does not benefit from Elemental Weapon Surge armor mods. Interesting. Players are unable to claim the Trials of Osiris rank 10 reputation. Jesus, Words.
It's all good.
Art. Like a cool pen or pencil sketch of Cade.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Pretty cute.
Cute.
Did you guys watch this short video? Movie of the week? Oh, you should. It's fucking hilarious. I feel bad. I feel so bad for the guy.
Let's see here. I don't know how long it is. It doesn't look too long, but we can kind of talk while it's going. Oh, is that? What's his name? That's Gothalion, right? Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen him forever. So it can't. Okay, so basically, what happened was the game crashed right at the end there.
No, it didn't crash.
Oh, it didn't crash.
Keep reading or keep watching.
I didn't have audio on, so
Oh, okay. So I'll just tell you. Tag to his what it's like gaming while being a parent, and he gets booted out of his Steam because his son started playing another game.
oh, I see that now. It says error Steam. You're logged in on another computer.
Uh-huh. Like, wouldn't that just at the end of the raid and get yeeted out?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the tweet.
There's some good news today that also just came out on PlayStation 5. People in Discord can join calls directly now. You don't have to start it from your phone
Nice.
Ooh,
as of today.
moving up in the
Nice.
world.
Mm-hmm. Moving up in the world.
So,
Rodimus, we pretty much talked about things. What else do you want to add? Or if Kato, you have things. We talked about.
Don't know what you
episode
talked
stuff.
about.
Episode stuff and the raid changes. And
I'd be
you missed
curious.
it all.
I'd be curious. I saw the article you posted earlier. I'd be curious in how that's going to pan out going forward.
Well,
But I think there's enough of the other raids that people have done them so much. It's just going to be a DPS check, pretty much.
they're changing it even since that article was posted. Late breaking news. The Twid announced today they're changing it back.
Oh, they must have had too much people complaining about it then.
I guess, yeah.
the past 3 weeks, yeah.
So there you go. So raids are going to be back to how they felt like before Final Shape, for the most part. Starting on Tuesday next week.
So
I know it was so. We were going to talk about the article, but then it changed today, so we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Change.
See, it's been a busy day with me. I left my house at
Yeah, I know you were.
1 o'clock and have just not get in. So, but it is
What
what
I
it
did.
is.
So you remember specifically one of the changes they made to it was specifically Star Eater and Golden Gun, right?
Mhm.
Where the orbs picked up while running marksman with Star Eaters equipped counted for less super energy back.
Mhm.
And then they give us Still Hunt that functions with Celestial Nighthawk. Doesn't that seem slightly counterintuitive? Like, it's just me that sees it, maybe.
Mm. Yeah.
I haven't actually
Yeah.
got to test it in a raid to see how well it functions, but from what I have tested, it's so. I don't want to say it's broken, but it is very, very good.
Yeah, well, Still Hunt is supposedly a very good option in the new raid.
Mhm.
So, and of course, Microcosm is a good option. And with
I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yep.
I don't
and
even have it.
That sucks.
We'll get
Sucks for
sent.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
No.
Where have you been, Sin?
I feel I play less than you do.
No, you play more than me for sure.
Probably true, actually.
Very true.
But we
Unless-
but I got Sin through a Dual Destiny.
I see. I haven't even done that. So
He's up on you on that.
he's beating me there.
I should do that.
You should, Rodimus. You know I've been trying to get you to do that. You
I know.
will.
I
And the
just did
good
time.
news is we did it in one run.
Nice.
Not mentioning any names, but we got it done in one run.
Yes, and Muffin got it done in one run.
I know you're not calling me
And-
out. So
No,
No.
a lot of people will get it done in one run. It's not that bad. I would say it's moderately difficult and then once you learn it, it's easy to moderate.
So I ran it last night with Wad,
Mhm.
and it threw me for a loop the way he was calling it. But then after it's like that brief momentary delay, brain lag caught up. I'm like, man, that's so much simpler.
Mhm.
is instead of calling out the ones he had, he was calling out the ones he didn't have.
Oh, I heard about that.
So-
about that.
To me, it's easier. It's less processing power.
See, to me, I feel like it'd be more because I have to first remember that, and then think about the ones that are opposite of that, and then shoot them. But to be fair, I think it's one of those things I may be overthinking, and when I'm in the moment, it may be okay.
Right. Well, I know it may just be a me thing. Like
Mhm.
Bell and Panda tried it earlier, I guess, and it did not work. Like
Yeah, there you go. Well,
the reason-
and about the symbols, the way I've been doing it with people is because I think this is like a good opportunity to kind of call out the correct names too. But usually, what will happen is like when I'm calling them out, I'll say the correct name, but then I'll say what it looks like in case they don't
Yep.
know what that means. Yep, I'll say both.
the name, then the description.
Yep.
Sometimes it's 3 or 4 different names and then a description.
Yeah. It's not that bad though, because as long as you can at least get a
No.
description, it works good.
I've been having a lot of fun. I still don't have a class item that's worth it.
Viable.
Yeah. Well, that's
Mine,
why we
I only have
keep
one.
running it.
Mine's just
quick-
a bunch of explosions with barricades and finishers.
Quick initial thoughts on the episode so far. What you have done, Rodimus? Any initial impressions? How you'd rate it, or are you excited for?
I do
the
like the activity. I think that with friends, obviously, it will be much easier and nicer, so you're not going to rush through it with like blueberries to go collect some stuff. But I think it's fun. I like the fail-safe stuff. I know Bell's actually loving it, but
He's like the biggest proponent of it of anyone I've talked to.
he's so great. It's so funny. But spoiler alert if you haven't done the first week, I do like when they download her into the helm.
Yeah. No,
But
we're
I
fine
don't
talking about it. Yeah.
have to go to Nessus constantly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I just her communication. It's like pirates, fishing.
Dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah. That is really the best part, of course, is the humor to it and the
Yeah.
conversations. And I hope that each act will have at least. It's hard for me to tell. There's going to be, I think, at least 3 or 4 weekly missions this first act of content, and then there will be undoubtedly a little bit of downtime. And then when Act 2 starts, I can't really tell yet of what's happening, if it's continuing that activity and mission or if it's going to be something different. Because rumors, even the third act, that's when we'll get an exotic quest and stuff. And who knows how much of the seasonal story will still keep going along since we have more weeks. But the humor is there, and I love the story aspect of it. The mission, it's okay, a little bit better than average, but I don't know in the long run why we'll be carrying around this too much. Unless you're Bell.
Hey, if nothing else, I have Enigma Protocol available.
You have it now, Sin.
Yes,
All
it
right.
was the encoded log quest where you had to like find a disturbance in the Well of Echoes.
Mhm.
It wasn't the other two. The other two were just for the seasonal buffs or bonuses.
Gotcha. Yep. Well, I'm glad you have that. Look at that. You're on our level now, Sin. We haven't run the mission yet.
Nope, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to join. I'm like right at the flag.
Well, I mean, we're at an hour and we talked about the things we want to talk about. So unless Kato or Rodimus has anything else.
Nope. I was just stopping in to say hi.
To kind of pose a question.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the new exotics we've gotten: Still Hunt, Microchasm, Red Death, or even the exotic sword. Like, do you think they're going to nerf any of these things?
The most likely one would be, I guess, Still Hunt or Microcosm.
Yeah.
I don't think the swords. There's just so much variability there. Maybe like one specific one, maybe, but
Like Kvostov, I think will probably get a change.
oh, because of PvP.
PvP and PvE. It's really good.
Yeah, but I don't know. An auto for an exotic.
I mean,
I know. I played with it. It is good, but like, am I missing something? I would say it's like 10 to 20% better than some other autos. And yeah, it has the cool seventh thing where it ricochets, but I feel like on
the ice up
it's only
perk.
yeah, it's only good on red bars, right? It's not like amazing on yellow bars and stuff, is it?
It still does pretty good, yeah.
All right.
I feel Quicksilver is still better though,
Why do you use Quicksilver
Because-
since the nerf?
because you get the 3 grenades with it.
Yeah, but they nerfed Quicksilver. They nerfed the grenade damage and
But a good strand build will outdo it in any other. Outdo Kvostov in a strand build.
Well, it's interesting to hear the different thoughts.
Interesting.
And I don't know enough. Now I know Bell's also very big on Kvostov and says it's really good. So I know probably what you're saying, Kato, and from others that it's really good, but I'm trying to think like again though, like what would most people want to main it like that good or why is it so much better?
I think it's just how easy it is to ramp up damage with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Eyes Up Guardian picking up an orb strengthens the next several ricochet shots. So they bounce more, so it's doing more damage. I don't know. I haven't used it enough to be like, yeah, this is good, but I've seen it. It's kind of nuts.
Well, it is a good question on what I want to start bringing into like when I do this new raid or even previous raids. Like right now, I'm still kind of big on the call and Sunshot or the call and like a scout or something. But I could see a play for Kvostov and then Indebted Kindness or something, you know. Either way, I really love the rocket assisted sidearm, so I'm gonna probably have one, even though I know technically if you're dealing with some champs or yellow bars, maybe a fusion would be better, but I can do pretty good work with these.
Like Red Death in PvP is a fucking nightmare. The healing on it, and it can 2 burst apparently. Like it's rough out there. I'm surprised they launched it with as much healing as they did. Like, that is really shocking.
Oh, and then of course Microcosm, that's the other wild card. So then if I run that as an exotic, then still I'd probably do the call and then maybe, you know, the healing auto, the new one, or Sunshot. No, I can't do Sunshot then, or, you know, a fusion or a scout. Just depending. I do like the new seasonal scout. The it has a cool scope. It seems, even though it has a weird kick, you get used to it.
Born Warfare.
Yeah, I like it.
You want to run around as a watermelon wedge
I do not.
with the helm? I think we figured out with Ed the exact color shader you need for it to be a watermelon.
Yeah, the armor season. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I would say
watermelon.
You're probably right. They're either going to nerf Microcosm or still.
Yeah. Hopefully
Because-
not Microcosm because it's a little harder to get.
I hope they don't nerf Still Hunt, because if they
Yeah.
then it becomes useless. You might as well just run a normal sniper.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point too. It's like, and that's always the problem with these exotics. They got to make them interesting enough so it's very easy to get them, quote, too powerful. But then, is that really a problem? I mean, it can be, but then you get talk about the whole power creep discussion and everything.
I am curious. Like, it's reading somewhere. It probably is going to get a nerf, and it's going to be most likely it's going to require kills instead of hits
Mhm.
to get the super, which is just unfortunate. And then it's going to end up like
What's that? Borealis, Darcy, other exotic sniper ever used.
Yeah. Darcy. I feel like we used that in
Right.
either world some back in the day.
Good option if you didn't have Whisper.
Yeah. I remember it being a thing briefly.
Yeah, briefly. Darcy.
What was that raid in the EDZ? What was that called?
Oh, Scourge.
Yeah, Scourge. Remember the first, I guess one of the 2 times I was in that raid
Mhm.
that I used Darcy because I didn't have Whisper. It worked there, kind of.
Yeah, it was sniper kind of either way. What did I wonder what sniper I used. Maybe I did have, I probably used Whisper, or was Izanagi around then too? I'm trying to remember. Or maybe I just used a legendary. Oh, and those dudes are, what are those guys called? They're in the co-op harder mission versions. The little fallen captain dudes that they do the bubble and you have to shoot on both sides at the same time.
Oh, the Berserkers.
Berserkers, yeah.
I forgot about that.
I
And
mean,
those are annoying.
they're annoying, and I feel like, okay, we all can kind of agree Dual Destiny is really good, right? They did really good mechanics with it and everything.
Sure.
But sure, you'll see, Rodimus. But the co-op missions where you have to have 2 to 3 people, I feel like they just put in annoying things. So people have to work together. Like the buff you have to pass, it's annoying. The 2 crystals you have to shoot, whatever. The Berserker, annoying. Just to get people involved, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem to play as well in those missions as it does in Dual Destiny.
It seems very just out of place and kind of awkward to do some of those things.
Yeah.
Like to me, anyways.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you have it. Another great week of Destiny. And we'll continue to see what's happening coming up. So, with that, do we have any announcements? No. I expect you to say something funny there. Sin's not with us.
Nothing funny came to
there it
mind.
is. Okay.
I
It's all good. It's all good.
Dog stuff. You got to figure out what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
New episode is out of DPS that got released today.
Well, I was going to
Yes.
ask. I always like asking that. Yep.
It actually got out super early because I was off and motivated to do something this morning. Otherwise, I'd be editing now. So it was just our live show. It was our 21st, so we are now legal age of drinking. So we were drinking last night. So
Nice.
and we did our top 10 on the flavor of Pop-Tarts.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it wasn't. They weren't too badly triggered, like the week before at the movies.
Mm.
So.
Yep. All
That's
right.
all I got.
No worries. Sounds good. All right. Well, people, there you have it. I would like to remind everyone that we are part of the Owl Sector Alliance. What is that, you may ask? Well, there's other great podcasts along. As Rodimus just mentioned, the DPS Dudes Playing Stuff podcast, which, hey, it's very refreshing because they do not just talk Destiny. In fact, most of the time they don't, probably unless there's a new release, right?
Yeah, so yesterday Panda tried to do like a twid and I cut him off and kicked him out. So
There you
you'll see that at some point
Wow.
in the episode yesterday. So
So mean. So mean.
then Bill
But you
tried to
got-
do it right afterwards and he got kicked. So No,
Hey, it's fun in
we do
Destiny right now. Give everyone a few more weeks. We're okay, right?
We do talk Destiny, but it's not a Destiny focused podcast.
I know.
So, and that's the big thing, that when we were deciding all of that, we wanted to do something different, because there's plenty of
Yeah.
Destiny podcasts out there, and give the community something that's not refreshing, but like different for them to listen to.
Yeah.
They don't feel like contending. Well, I got to listen to TGH this week. I might have to listen to GDC or Blueberry Lounge or any of this stuff because I want that Destiny content. Just wanted to give them something different, something fun. Really, all it is just a group of guys hanging around, just bullshitting for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. But it's part of the Alliance, and I love that because it's okay to have talked about other stuff. There will be times where we will maybe not be talking as much Destiny, but whatever. It's like, it's kind of like the base of how we started, but it's fun to have another podcast now that's not the base. But we are part of an Alliance meeting that we promote each other. So I love DPS guys, love the podcast, and obviously Rodimus is a host of both. So that's what
the ongoing joke is I talk Destiny here and not over there. So
hey, that's how it should be.
That's fair.
Yes. You're not allowed to talk any Destiny over there, huh?
No, because they think I'm gonna fall off the face of the earth if I do.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Danger, shout out. He's in our chat right now, also a member of DPS Podcast. Said you got to put a quarter in a jar if you talk about Destiny.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, and then like I was mentioning earlier, I was on the latest GDC. They're also a member of the Al Sector Alliance. We got Blueberry Lounge, we got Two Titans and a Hunter, and we got Potato Thumbs. So shout out to everyone in the Alliance. Please check out those other podcasts.
Yes.
All right. Rodimus, people know where to find you. You're around.
Yep. I'm around. Find me.
In the club.
Kato. You're around as Kato.
Yep.
Right?
Everywhere and like everywhere.
Well, what was your name in Space Mafia? It was something interesting.
Ricardo Petty.
Ricardo Petty.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Something like that. I don't know.
Sin, you're Sin most places. What's new? How can people find you?
The stuff, the usual. Discord. That's it.
We don't care. Bye. No,
Bye, Felicia.
bye, Felicia. But we do care if you want to tell me a fun outro. You got to bell it up, Sin.
Kingsley, Mr. Spit on that thing. Take us out.
Oh,
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Come on.
It's
I
not
mean,
spit on that thing. It's Hawk 2.
Yeah.
yeah.
And she finishes it off with spit on that thing.
Sin, just stop. Anyways, no, I appreciate the sayings.
You
at the
missed
end.
you missed the intro though.
Yeah.
So it makes sense because
Okay.
it
He
was
did
at the
start it.
beginning.
Yeah.
And now I finished it off with that pause.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got some more things for that particular one for After Dark. So
Sounds good to me. We'll get there. So yeah, you can find me as Kingsley Mac all the places, and you can find information about our show, how to join our Patreon, our Discord, all of the above at our lovely website, www.theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Thank you, Sin. Thank you, Kato. Thank you, Rodimus.
you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for listening again this lovely week. We really appreciate you, and we'll catch you all again next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later.